'Tis the season for gratitude, at least if you're watching this around the time that I'm recording it. But what is gratitude and why does it matter? Is there any science behind all the benefits that we've been hearing about that gratitude is good for our emotional, mental, and physical health? I want to discuss that with you today. I want to discuss all about gratitude. So we know that Thanksgiving is a time where people come together with their loved ones to share our blessings. It signifies a day of appreciation for the gifts that we have received in the year passing. And for some, the holiday season is a time of great joy. For others, it can lead to feelings of anxiety, isolation, and a lot of stress. With all the loss and trauma and grief that's happened, especially the past few years, and for many people throughout their lives, it can be hard to feel thankful. Yet the push to feel gratitude is not just a November movement within the toxic positivity realm. Gratitude's an actual state. It's a practice. And it does, in fact, bring many emotional, mental, and physical health benefits. And the good news is, you don't have to practice it a specific month to gain all of these different advantages. Gratitude can be something that is experienced every day. So in this video, I'm going to explore the specifics about gratitude, the different contextual meanings, the physical benefits, how it impacts our brain and neural processing, the mental health and mood shifts that occur with gratitude, personalizing its practice, and practical tips to enhance it, including incorporating your sense of smell. So yes, I will bring in essential oils, at least a little bit. So I hope that you can find this video and post helpful to boost your gratitude and to also enjoy the sense of the season and maybe even find some stillness within a warm embrace of these holy times or throughout the year. So let's get started. All right, first of all, if you want to find any additional information on the research that I'm talking about, or just to read the actual article that accompanies this video, please look in either the article or the video description from where I'm posting, and all the resources and references will be there, as well as additional tools to support your mind and body and your emotional, hormonal, and digestive health from me. Okay? So first of all, gratitude. The meaning can change within the context. It's been defined as a moral virtue, an attitude, an emotion, a habit, a personality trait, and a coping response. It's been portrayed in research in the following ways. So when they're measuring gratitude, this is what they say in the research that I found. As a positive emotional response to receiving a gift or benefit from someone, a state of being, so that's an emotional reaction to an experience, a dispositional characteristic, an appreciation for what is valuable and meaningful to oneself, and it represents a general state of thankfulness and appreciation. So this is a state or a trait phenomenon, and then a recognition that something good happened to you, accompanied by an appraisal that someone, whether it's an individual or an impersonal source, such as nature or divine entity, was responsible for it. And then as an important aspect of humans' sociality, and it's valued by religions and moral philosophies. So there is a lot of juice around gratitude and what it is, and especially what people relate to with it, and if it's a personality. Merriam-Webster defines it a little bit more simply. It's the state of being grateful. And grateful means an appreciative of benefits received, expressing gratitude or grateful thanks, affording pleasure or contentment, and pleasing by reason of comfort supplied or discomfort alleviated. Regardless of how it's described, the emotion or act of gratitude has been well studied in research. And overall, like I said, it has had a positive effect. Author Melody Beattie puts it this way. She says, gratitude turns what we have into enough and more. It turns denial into acceptance, chaos into order, confusion into clarity, and it makes sense of our past, brings peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow. It's a lot of promises. So let's see what the science says about the benefits of gratitude. First of all, if we look at physical health. Now, the actual studies on the physical health benefits of gratitude are less than the emotional well-being and mental health aspects of gratitude, but they're still there. And we know that the mind and the body are interconnected. So obviously when you affect emotional health, you're going to affect your physical health. So let's look at this. The first one I want to go through is a systematic review of 19 different studies, and it found that 5 of the 8 studies showed that gratitude benefited subjective sleep quality. It also helped blood pressure, glycemic control, asthma control, and eating behavior in some of the studies, although there were less studies for these particular constructs and other markers showed mixed results. So there are some inconclusive findings, and this is intriguing. And a lot of times it could be related that the intervention for gratitude was used was different. So someone might be told to think something or write something down, for example. Subject state of being, right? Some people are more open to feeling gratitude than other people, and the study designs. But I'll get into that a little bit more later. So what about gratitude and how it impacts healthy behaviors? Because if someone behaves in more healthy ways, then they're apt to be more healthy, right? So one study with over 900 Swiss adults actually examined the relationship between psychological health, healthy activities, and willing to seek help for health concerns. And if this was related or mediated between gratitude and self-reported physical health. And they found that it actually was, but that there were some age differences on the effect. What they found is that it was actually a greater predictor for older adults than younger adults. So the mechanisms explaining why gratitude predicts health appears to differ across adulthood, but it does in fact, there is a mediation of gratitude and healthy behaviors. Now, if we look at some single studies on gratitude, one that I want to highlight because it reveals a connection between different states such as gratitude and hostility and heart health. So we're talking about the mind-heart connection, is an older trial which explored a 10-week gratitude intervention via telephone. So it was like a gratitude hotline where they called in and stated what they were grateful for and how it would impact blood pressure. And they used 82 subjects. They were mostly low income, inner city African American patients. Why this is kind of relevant is because blood pressure tends to run higher in this particular ethnic group. And they compared it to control conditions. They assessed blood pressure, hostility, gratitude scores, and democratic data. And they did find indeed a statistic significant decrease in the gratitude group's systolic blood pressure. And they also noted an increase in gratitude scores, which was associated with positive health behavior changes. So kind of going back to what I just talked about, as well as a significant inverse correlation between gratitude and hostility. So again, we have more evidence of that heart-brain connection. There was also another study on sleeping well because of gratitude, and it was a 2-week gratitude intervention. And there was 119 women in this randomized placebo-controlled trial, and it increased hedonic well-being, optimism, and sleep quality, and decreased diastolic blood pressure. Now, the rise in well-being was directly related to improved sleep and blood pressure effects. So this pointed out yet another link between well-being and heart health as well as sleep. So we have these links between sleeping, lowering blood pressure, and the impact of it mediating certain health behaviors, as well as some other markers and other studies such as glycemic control, which is blood sugar, asthma control, and eating behavior. Now, what about for emotions and mental health? So what happens on the brain? This is your brain on gratitude, right? There's a legit impact. Studies have looked at functional magnetic resonance imagery to figure out how the brain changes its activity when it's in a state of gratitude. And one study with depressed and anxious subjects evaluated this with gratitude writing intervention, and then other people were taking therapy as usual. And after 3 months, there were brain changes from this pay it forward task. They did this gratitude interventions, and then they had them do this tasks of paying it forward. And what they found was that the brain region activity associated with self-reported gratitude during the pay it forward task was related to areas linked to guilt motivation and a desire to help. And this was specifically through neuromodulation of the medial prefrontal cortex. You don't really have to know the name of that, but it's just interesting for those who are neuroscientist geeks or just who like to know the science. And they stated that this simple gratitude intervention actually caused these lasting neurological modulations in this part of the brain up to 3 months later, which is pretty cool. Another study also verified the ratings of gratitude correlated with the same brain region in that medial prefrontal cortex, but they also reported changes in another area, another fun long name, the anterior cingulate cortex. And this brain circuitry was linked to areas related to moral cognition and positive emotion. Now, these differences could be mediated by the different contexts of the study design. Now, the first trial we talked about was related to, they were the givers. And in this trial, the gratitude was the subjects themselves were actually the receivers of the benevolence. So that could be why there were different brain areas activated. Now, another experiment with brain imaging. Now, these also showed some correlations and more showed different regions, the mesolimbic reward and basal forebrain regions, for those of you who want to know, specifically the ventral tegmentral area, the hypothalamus and the septum. And there was also a link in increased gray matter in the inferior temporal gyrus. That has been reported as well. Now, you don't need to know all that, but what's interesting is the tasks and the context differed. So they lit up different parts of the brain, which does demonstrate that this feeling of gratitude can be contextual as far as how it impacts our emotions and could impact our physiology. So basically this, feeling this emotion of gratitude does impact our brain in very real ways. Now, as far as the positive changes in mental state and well-being, what's the research say on that? I have a bunch of studies listed in the article resources if you want to go through each and every one. But to summarize, gratitude improves overall well-being, a positive effect, subjective happiness and life satisfaction, anxiety and depression, PTSD symptoms, stress effects, less envious feelings was actually reported in one study, job-related well-being, self-esteem, body image or body dissatisfaction, social connection and relationships have been improved with gratitude, spirituality has been enhanced, management skills have said to be improved, as well as workers' satisfaction. So there is a long list of benefits of feeling grateful. So as you can see, that gratitude provides a myriad of physical, emotional, social, and relationship benefits. And it should be noted that not every trial that I looked at reported positive effects of gratitude, but the vast majority of them did, especially like in meta-analyses. So a review article noted that this inconsistency in these outlier studies could be again related to the conditions and the circumstances in the clinical testing, as well as the subject's characteristics. So this brings me to a point that there is no right way for you to do gratitude. If someone is pounding out gratitude lists and they feel great and you've done it and you have no effect, it might not be the actual way for your brain to have this neural connectivity change than someone else's. You might need to try a different method. So let's look at these different methods, and I'll give credit to the AANMC for this. Now, they say some of the things we can do is start each day thinking about 3 things for which you're grateful. It could be as simple as coffee, fuzzy slippers, or a view from your kitchen window. You can give thanks before meals, blessings. That can impact gratitude. You can be grateful for the farmer who made the food, for whoever cooked the food, the grocery store supplying that food for you, just pausing and thinking about all the different things that had to happen to get that food in front of you. You can keep a gratitude journal. This is probably the most popular method. Each night before bed, you can write down a couple of things that occurred during the day which you're grateful for. You can write thank you notes to others. You can think about anybody in your life that's touched or inspired you and feel a sense of gratitude for them. Another twist on this is you could actually think of how to do something nice for someone else if that maybe sparks your neural connectivity measurements here. And another thing you can do is use the sense of smell, because that does enhance your mood and well-being, right? We know that the sense of smell actually is linked to the emotional center of our brain. And this is why essential oil blends for gratitude can help support people who are struggling with loss or family triggers, or just being stressed out from the extra hassles of the holidays. A lot of times people need a little olfactory boost of gratitude, and sometimes the holidays can be especially triggering, but any time of year it can be used. So I'll be providing more information on my channel with more essential oils that can help you to feel more at ease and a state of calm and peace during the holidays, but they can really be used throughout the whole year. And I'll also explain why emotions in a bottle are legit. Okay, so you see these little essential oil bottles with like joy, happiness, peaceful blend, and I'll explain to you why, that does have some legit science to it. So make sure you stay tuned. And I'd just like to say that as a little thought for you all, I just hope that you have a wonderful, blessed Thanksgiving, and that it can provide you a time to pause and have some space for some growth, some rebirth, maybe even more resiliency. So this can enhance maybe tolerance and kindness on this day and moving forward and every day, because we all need a little bit more kindness and tolerance for ourselves. And if we have it for ourselves, we can give it out to other people. So please take this time to take really good care of yourself, and maybe even catch up on some of my articles that are about self-care or about mind-body health, and looking up some of my resources on essential oils and the classes I offer and anything that I can do to support you. I have a bunch of free things on my website. I really appreciate you. I'm thankful for you, as always, for taking time in your interest to learn more about natural medicine and integrative medicine, and about gratitude and the science on gratitude. Have a beautiful Thanksgiving, holiday, day or night, or whenever you're listening to this. And I will hope to see you again real soon. Take care.